G'day, it's your old mate Non-Rasputin back, and here we have a very special car. This is a 2003 Holden Commodore Calais. Now what makes this car so special? This is my aunt's car. Okay, she bought this thing brand new from the showroom floor and has loved it ever since. When she came to me and said this car might end up in the scrapyard, Non-Rasputin was like, no, we have to save this thing. We have to save and preserve this car for future generations to appreciate, to drive and to love. Let's take a look at some of the damage. When the person pulled out of the giveaway sign, this took the first point of contact. As the car traveled along, went over the tire, smacked the back part of this front guard, grabbed the door, and this is actually being sort of cut out because it was quite a dangerous piece of metal hanging off, and then pulled that door back. Let's take a look at this door. So it's slightly pushed out, like it's coming out from the actual door jamb, and this line here, or this gap here, has been pushed in a little bit. Looking around the rest of the car, everything looks nice and tidy. A few little sort of nicks and scratches and things like that, but nothing that wouldn't be pretty normal for a car of this age, to be fair. Let's take a look inside. So because this is a Calais, it has the leather seats, and this is that classic sort of grey leather seat of the era. Very comfortable and very nice to sit in, actually. Another cool thing about this car is that it has that classic 3.8 litre Buick-based V6. These things go and go forever. And this one was like, you know, a bit over 300,000 Ks, is really showing no signs of wear and tear at all. Runs like a clock. Just looking up here, my aunt did mention that the air conditioning wasn't working, and that green sort of dye that's coming up, that's out of this joint here, that sort of tells me that that's where the expansion joint, that's where that's leaking from. So quick addition of some new O-rings should be able to sort that out. Wow, it's even still got the parcel tray net. That's kind of cool. Before we get started working on this thing, let's give it a nice good clean. So before I put on a new panel or anything like that, I need to be able to pull this back out to where it was before. And the reason why I do that, or reason why we do that, is to make sure that when we put the new panel on, we don't have to do a whole lot of adjustment. We've done all the adjustment with the thing that we can kind of get a bit rough with. So the idea is I'm just gonna tease this out back to where it actually kind of started from. And as I'm doing this, this panel is actually starting to line up a bit better up the top here, which is what I want. So during the crash, this panel here was rotated slightly, which is kind of, this is why the bonnet doesn't stick down properly. It's because this guy here is on that angle, whereas it should actually be flat. And so what I'm doing is I'm just going to use the trusty old diesel ute to pull this panel out and hopefully sort of rotate this back around to where it should be. Right. So we're almost at the point where we can actually start taking things off, like the bumper, take that light out, and start the removal of this here panel. headlight here, this is broken of course, and bit of a crack through here as well, and the lid's come off, but luckily the lid's still over there. But the lens isn't actually cracked, so we should be able to polish this back and at least make it look presentable. Now we've got the light out, we can actually see why this is at an angle. This panel's been pushed in here. So once we get that panel off, we're going to have to bash it straight and then try the fit on the new one. Holy moly! Check out the size of that spider. Far out. So now with that panel removed, the door seems to be lining up fairly well. The door gap is slightly less than on the other side. So it's got about twice as much gap on this side. So what we will have to do is just do some fine adjustment. I don't think it's done anything to the hinges. They'll look alright. Man, that is a big spider, man. This is New Zealand. You don't typically see spiders like that. Well, I don't anyway, but then again, this car was from the countryside, so anything goes, right? The good thing about trying to panel beat something like this is we have an identical one on this side. So what we're going to do is try and copy what that's doing. And I can see that that's straight up and that's nice and flat, etc. And this one is not. And so this will need to come out. That will need to bend over again. And this should be pulled flat. And then the new guard should fit on just nicely. I think once we actually do that, this here will lift up and give us the right height. So we'll do our first test fit up. It's looking pretty good. So those bolt holes are lining up nicely. Give it a bit of a close. So the gap, even with the broken door, seems fine. We won't be repairing this door. It's just too far gone, and we happen to have a replacement of the same colour anyhow. So I'm happy with that. I think we can send it off to the painter, and along with the bumper as well. We'll just strip it down and then get that off. So here we are at it again with this door, and I'll show you a trick that an old mate of mine taught me. So if we want to increase the door gap at this point here, especially in this case where the door has been pushed back a little bit, just for some fine adjustment, you just disconnect the door check strap there, and then once you've done that, because this is the door, we're actually replacing this door here, so we don't care too much for it, but we actually just rock it on those hinges there. Okay, just give it a nice quick few jolts, and then we're able to actually increase that gap a little bit without compromising the fit of that door in the frame there. Once we've actually got that door, this door here, the broken one, fitting perfectly, then we'll pop it out and pop in the replacement door. Unfortunately, the front headlight here has taken a bit of a bash, so this has been all pushed in. Got a broken tab here on top. This tab here has been smashed off, so we could get a new one or get a second hand one from the wreckers, but I really like to work with the original stuff that comes with the car, and so we'll make this one work. So we'll heat this up with a heat gun, basically just to soften it up. Get this guy here, start to lever her up back to where it came from. So once I've let that cool off for a bit, we'll heat it up again, push this bit out here, and then we pretty much should be okay to staple that in place and make sure that that crack is taken care of. Okay, she's starting to take shape there, looking more and more circular. So we use the good cap to get that in place and screw it, and it should keep a nice circle there. So we'll get that really bubbling hot. Okay, right, for the next bit we just want to strengthen up around these cracks here. Just use an old soldering iron, don't use your mum's best soldering iron, you never hear the end of it. So we're just kind of now, if you've seen my channel before, you know that I'm a total fan of these hot staples. They're absolutely amazing. They're a game changer. Pop that sucker in there. Makes it totally strong. Just get some MS sealant. So another thing that's kind of common with Commodores and Falcons of this era is the headlining coming down, getting loose and basically just falling on top of you. And it's caused by mainly sort of heat cycling. You know, it gets hot, cold, humidity, all that sort of stuff. And what happens is there's a bit of a foam backing there. I don't know if you can see that. Bit of a foam backing, and basically that just breaks down and gives up and starts coming down. Look, you can kind of glue this back up temporarily, but you know it will end up falling down again. And you know, so probably the best thing to do is to take the whole thing out and just redo it properly. This headlining, other than it sort of coming down over here, it's not too bad. Let's see. Someone's head's been rubbing up here, probably my tall uncle. And so we'll rip this out. And so another thing that kind of accelerates it is driving along with your window open. Like, you know, you get a little bit of air underneath, a little bit more, and it basically just falls down. So let's take this thing from shabby to babby. Yeah. So now that we have the headlining out of the car, it's just a simple matter of peeling off that material. So we'll start with that. It should come up pretty easy actually. Yep, that's way easy. Right, we can discard that. And then before we can actually put the new material on, we need to get rid of all of that foam there. Okay, so what I like to do is get a scrubbing brush, give it like a real good scrub, and suck it up with a vacuum. Okay, so just get the scrubbing brush and basically just get all that stuff off. And we want to get right back down to this this fiberglass lining here. Right, so we've managed to get this thing pretty clean, and all of that foam backing is now off. It does still feel sticky, that's normal, so we're just going to leave it in the sun for a bit and get it nice and warmed up, and then we'll get up to the next stage of actually putting the material down. It's got a foam backing on it, which is exactly the sort of stuff you need. Don't be tempted to use normal material or anything like that, just use the proper stuff. This is a sample of the old stuff, a sample of the new. So we managed to get a really good match for the colour, and a really good match for the pattern as well. I don't know if you can see that. Let's go. It's sort of got like a crisscross weave pattern there. So quite pleased we're able to do that. So first things first, we just get the tube that the hood lining came in, or the head lining came in. So just grab the material and pull it up and sort of do it about halfway. Okay, so we're going to do half. Okay, so we're going to use this spray adhesive, high strength, really good for what we're doing here. So then we'll give it a nice good spray on the backing. Okay, then we'll get around these edges here as well. So one thing that we're going to be doing that they don't do in the factory is folding it over. So excess will actually sort of fold over and get stuck to the other side. So we'll go crisscross this way. Now, because this is contact adhesive, we have to wait for that side to be tacky and the other side to be tacky as well. So we're going to give the back of the head lining a spray as well. It won't soak through, and the reason is it's got that foam backing there, so you shouldn't get any stains or anything sort of bleaching across the other side there. Okay, sweet. So we'll give that a couple of minutes. All right, so now as I touch this, I can feel that the glue is not dry, but it is tacky to the feel. It's like kind of trying to stick to my fingers, and same go for the other side as well. So we'll just roll it across in a nice even motion and just kind of let it fall into place, eh? Now just get your hand to just gently come from the inside and work your way out, and pay special attention when you start to get to the curves and things like that. So you've got some extra curves around those little handholds. We have to make sure we push it down into there. And it's starting to take shape there. Right, so once we're happy that's kind of in place, flip around, and then we're going to get started on the other side, and then we can start that process again. So we've got a few electrical connectors here. Just make sure you tuck those away. We don't want to spray those full of glue or anything like that. Don't be tempted to spray this glue right up your nose. It's not really good for you. And just what we're going to do is now trim it to size. Want to leave a little bit of overlap, half an inch or whatever you want to call it, and then just follow that line around there. So that's more or less how much you sort of leave on the outside. And as I said before, you know, the OEM stuff or the original factory stuff only goes up to the edge, and this is actually going to be a major improvement. This will last the lifetime of the car probably. And so what we're going to do with the last bit of glue we have is just give it a good spray along this edge here, and once that's tacky, we're going to pull it over the side and let that cure. Okay, so now we're going to fold this over. It's a bit tacky, so get a nice sharp knife and then just work it along like that. Anytime that there's like sort of a part that's taking a big turn, just make a cut and then that'll sort that out. All right, and these little points here, just basically make a bit of an X through the middle. Try not to cut yourself, and then just fold the tabs over just like that. So just to prevent these from lifting up while it's curing, I just like to get a little bit of tape, just pop it on there, just to sort of hold those back. Pretty happy with that. It's definitely an improvement on what it was before. So what we'll do next is pop it back in the car and get it all bolted up and have a look. One of the things my aunt did mention is that once when she was coming back from down south, she was driving along and then noticed the temperature gauge was a little bit high. Just as a bit of a precaution, I'm going to change the water pump. For the water pump, we just want to use a bit of this gasket goo, so use it pretty sparingly. You don't want to put heaps and heaps on there, but just basically coat that surface all the way around. Now that we have that tightened up, we'll just leave it for a couple of hours to set before we start putting any coolant in.